Hello and welcome back to another episode of That Sound Podcast. And if you love music, you're in the right place. Today we are joined again by Chris. How are you, sir?
Good, doing well.
We are going to be reviewing the two-night no-repeat Toronto shows by the mighty Metallica. So, first of all, Chris, how did you find Toronto? What was it like?
Uh, it was great. It was nice. Canadian people are always so nice. Canadian nice is a real thing.
Yes.
Uh,
Hey,
Big city. I've got memories from being there when I was younger. But I got to hang out with some local people I was there, and it was pretty good.
cool, cool. And you took in some of the local attractions I've seen too. Did you do the CN Tower and
Yep.
did you
Yeah.
hit up?
First night there, did the CN Tower, and
You didn't hit up Niagara, no?
I did Niagara. Yeah, I did that
Yeah.
on the day in between. Yeah.
It's amazing. I remember being there when I was like 8 years old, and I still remember it. Like I remember the fear of just like watching the water falling. I'm like
Mhm.
the power of that water is just intense. It's amazing to see. So cool.
Yeah.
So cool. And the CN Tower, I believe, has like the glass floor now, right? Where you can kind of walk on it. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Even though I trusted, I was still a little nervous, and
Oh,
but
oh,
but finally walked over it. Yeah.
oh, is that the shot that you got right down on the arena? Was that?
The Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, when you walked on the glass and you looked right down below there, it actually it was all pretty scratched up. That glass was.
Wow.
So I think we went even higher and were able to take because you had to walk downstairs, I think, to find the glass. But
Okay.
then from the main level went to the top level, less people, and it was a better area to take pictures of below.
Cool, cool. Yeah, it was an amazing shot, especially at night time with the lighting and everything. The arena looked pretty damn cool. Um, so did you hit up the pop-up shop or did you go to any of that stuff? Are you into the merch and the stuff or
I didn't. I talked to people in line who did. I think the first day I talked to one guy who got there at about 3:15 in the morning for before the Thursday concert. And he lives in Toronto. Talked to some other people that had gotten there after that, and then again on Saturday. Talking to my buddy Frank, who'd gotten there at 6 in the morning. We saw him in line earlier, and he's like, "Well, I'm going back to take a nap. I'll see you guys later."
oh yeah, I did. I was following on some of the pages online and there was people like lining up at like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. I was like, "Gee."
Yeah,
Each to their own. For me, I'm not into the. Look, it's all cool. I love the artwork and all that, but I'm not. I love my sleep too much to
exactly.
get.
Same here. Same here. I'm more likely to still be awake at 3 a.m. than I am to wake up and go line up for something.
Yeah, like if I had a choice, put it this way, to line up at 3 a.m. if there wasn't the idea disappear pass or the frantic pass to get to the rail or to get a poster, man, I'm getting up to get to that rail. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
to me, the posters and that. On the topic, Chris, I'd love to ask your take on it. So obviously they're doing the 72 season splatter, from each city. What's your take on it? Do you
Uh,
think?
I think some of them are really neat, and I think especially for collectors, I see people that post them, and like with my first knee jerk reaction when I saw the Mexico one, I thought that was really freaking cool.
Yeah, I
Uh,
did. I do remember that one. Yeah,
and then, but I've just got so many records in general that I was just like, I don't need
yeah, yeah,
need 10 to 20 of the same. I think I've got two, maybe three. No, I think I just have two versions of 72 seasons.
yeah,
And so I
yeah.
got to the point where it's like, no, I don't really need to do that.
Yeah.
It's just going to sit there with the rest of my records.
Good, good. I'm glad you said it. Yeah, I remember when I first kind of seen it, and I'm like, oh, and people were posting up like I have. Now again, each to their own. I'm not crapping on anybody's thing. It's just my opinion. I was like, why would you want like 20 records of the same album? Okay, like I get it's collectible. It's marketing at its best by Metallica, but for me, yeah, I'm like, dude, and then, you know, instantly they're up on eBay for crazy money. I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get it. But anyway, each to their own. If that's your thing, you know,
For sure, for
all
sure. I know
good.
that people get excited by it, and I'm happy for them.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. It's each to their own. I just don't get it myself. But so the set list, let's get into it. How was getting in and all that? Everything was organized pretty good.
Yeah, it seemed like when I got there at first, I we encountered it both days where they didn't want us lining up on the property.
Oh,
So I think people had been pushed across the street, and then around noon, I think allowed to get in the lines that were set up by the building. And so I think that was just that was a minor inconvenience. I think it was minor for me. Um,
is it because it's like right bang in the middle of the city and like the CN Tower's so close by and congestion and all that, I guess.
That's my guess, yeah, and especially where we were lining up was, and especially when you saw how long the frantic line was. We were in the arena, or we were outside the stadium on the CN Tower side, so I could see, there's probably a lot of tourist foot traffic there anyway,
Yeah.
and they were like, we won't put them there until it's necessary, and it seemed like both days that frantic line was just never ending, and it
Okay.
went way back. And we had to watch them walk by. We waited, they waited inside, and then finally, when we went in, we had to watch that long line go by again, and it was pretty torturous.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But yeah, frantic definitely showed up in full force.
Do you know roughly how many frantic tickets there are? No idea.
No, no, I don't know, I've never really been into the count. We recognize, hey, there's long days, there's short days. I
Okay.
feel like it was the longest I had seen.
Yeah.
Um, People had asked me about longer than, Warsaw or Madrid, and I'd heard the line in Madrid was really long, but it was inside. I had snake pit, so I luckily I didn't have to experience it and encounter it. But as
Yeah.
far as I've been waiting and I disappear, I feel like that's the longest line I've seen.
Wow. Yeah, yeah. Just when you mentioned that, I do remember we had seated tickets in Madrid, but I do remember watching people in line. I presume that they had early GA or Frantic or something. And the heat that day, and it was on the promenade and the concrete was burning. I'm like, I couldn't sit there for like 4 hours. I think I'd pass out with the heat that day. It was insane.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, you got in and going by your photos, Chris, you got a nice spot.
Yes, yeah, and as far as the stage layout was, it wasn't necessarily in the center of the field. So in these, football and soccer stadiums,
Yeah.
it's the way it's set up. It's in the center of the field. With this being on a baseball field, they had the pitcher's mound fenced off, and
Okay.
then that pushed all the operations further towards center field. And then in center field there at the Rogers Center, you don't have seating there in dead center. You've got the center field wall, and above that, you've got the hotel windows, and such.
Oh,
So there's really not, yeah. So I ended up between at the dip between, over closer to James. So behind me, it's just rows of people, and then boom, center field wall, no fans, and that wall is closer to the speakers. But yeah, I was able to get there, get to the dip, close to the microphone. I was with friends, made new friends there. Being that it was Thursday, I presume a lot of people were still at work,
yeah.
because when GA came in, I didn't even realize GA had come in. I was talking to people. I was like, "Oh, when is GA coming in?" They were like, "We're GA." I was like, "Oh, okay, nobody's here yet."
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
so we were able to kind of move around. I was able to go see a buddy, have a beer, go use the restroom, come back, and it was pretty relaxed. But yeah, but I think though that the stage definitely the stage placement, and with the roof being closed, I think that definitely played a role in the sound of the first night, because I didn't think the sound was all that great the first night. I don't think it was good for any band. Suicide. We heard it was Suicidal. I
Yeah.
thought Pantera. I thought their sound sounded okay, and then when Metallica came out, it didn't do Metallica any favors.
Wow, that's interesting. Because remember we chatted before, and with the dome being closed and stuff, we thought it might be more like almost like an indoor gig, almost. But I do remember the Big Four show in Yankee Stadium as well, and obviously the angle of the triangle of the baseball field, and like people are almost sitting. You're not looking at the stage; you're kind of looking at this, and everybody's looking to the right or everyone's looking to the left. It's
Yeah,
it's not ideal, but oh man, that sucks that the sound wasn't great. Yeah, damn. Um,
and and my thought was, after that, because even they went to Holier Than Thou,
yeah.
I just could not identify the song because of just all the noise, everything going back and forth.
Oh
And then I
no.
had someone next to me scream "Through the Never." They thought they heard "Through the Never" being played.
It
So I'm sitting there trying to identify "Through the Never" and
ah
trying to catch up with the song, and I was like, "No, that's "Holier Than Thou." So
ah.
it was just hard to identify that song in that moment.
And was the feedback from a couple of your buddies and stuff that was there was it wasn't just that spot you were in, it was all over?
Yeah. I talked to some people that the next night who'd been in different places. And people kept asking me like, "What did you think of the sound?" I was like, "I didn't think it was too great," and it was the same feedback. They're like, "Yeah, that's what I was thinking."
Ah, that's a pity. That's a pity,
Yeah,
man. Especially for a song like that, because I text you straight away. I'm like, oh, holier than thou. I'm like, that is a killer
yeah,
song live. Like,
yeah.
I love it live. Ah, damn. But look, these things happen. I guess it's not ideal. The other thing that kind of went over my head was I didn't realize it wasn't the Friday and Sunday like Europe. It was a Thursday and a Saturday, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and then I was like, is it the time difference that I'm messing up on here? Or I was like, no, it's Thursday and Saturday. What was the theory behind that? There's no baseball on? Oh, there is baseball on, right?
There is, yeah, yeah. So I think that might be around. They might um, be playing around the Blue Jays schedule. I don't know what that looks like.
Okay.
But yeah, baseball is going on, so they do have that, and it's going to transfer over to next week in Nashville
Is Nashville a
as
baseball
well.
stadium as well?
No, it's a football stadium.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I don't think they would have it rented for anything else. But
Yeah.
so yeah, for us, I disappear. But for people that are going for the weekend, it's throwing us off because we always have a hard time with saying yesterday, well 2 days ago, but night one, night two,
Yeah.
and so we keep even people making plans. I had a friend who was making plans ahead of time and was looking at Niagara Falls on Saturday. I
Yeah.
was like, "Wow, that's ambitious. You're going to do that on a show day?" And he was like, "I totally forgot. Thank you." And so we were struggling just in conversation with Thursday
Yeah.
and Saturday versus Friday and Sunday.
So Nashville is Thursday and Saturday as well.
Yes, yeah,
Okay, I'm with you now. Okay, okay. Yeah, like that is tough. Like, you know, working in school or whatever, like, if you want to get into that line early, like the I disappear or the frantic line, like you really gotta take 2 days off work.
hmm
It's a lot. It is a lot. Um, one thing I wanted to touch on too, also, like the etiquette of being at the rail. Like, is everybody kind of cool with like, okay, if I got to get a beer or I want to go to the toilet or like everyone will kind of let you mill back in and take your spot. Like, that's kind of the way it
yeah,
goes.
yeah. And it probably depends on how far into the show and how many people there are. But I find that if I make moves from the rail early on, like when GA first comes in, generally,
Yeah.
we recognize who was up there. The people at the rail hold their spots. We didn't have any trouble with that as we had people, moving out along the rail.
Cool.
Generally, people recognize when they see somebody coming back with two beers in hands,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
"Hey,
yeah,
that
yeah.
guy's going somewhere."
Yeah, yeah. That's cool. That's cool. I often wondered about that. I never actually got rail on any show, I don't think. Because yeah, once I start having beer, I'm to the toilet every hour. I'm like, I'd lose my
Yeah.
spot straight away.
Usually on a show day, if I'm at the rail, I'm trying to limit drinking anything.
Yeah. If I had the I disappear pass, I'd be like, beer can that can happen
Yeah.
another day. Metallica comes first. But yeah. So look, let's check out the set list for night one in Toronto.
Yeah, yeah!
So we open with Creeping Death, into Harvester of Sorrow. Nice
Yeah.
heavy start. Holier Than Thou. When I seen it, I'm like, that. And then I didn't realize I got that in Madrid, and I forgot. Did
Ah,
Yeah, King Nothing. I think they done that in Syracuse as well, right? They opened with Creeping
yeah.
Death in Syracuse as well, I believe. They didn't do Harvester of Sorrow in Syracuse, right? Don't think they did.
So I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
Remember.
72 seasons. If Darkness Had a Sun. Um, the Kirk and Rob Doodle was interesting. They done Suicide Redemption with the drum backing
Yeah,
track. You were telling me that, and Lars didn't come out. It was just like a backing track.
exactly. Yep. Yeah. But that was cool. That was my first taste
Yeah,
of suicide and redemption
yeah,
that I've had. So I was excited when that happened. Unfortunately, at that time, a lot of people decided that was the time to do a lot of crowd surfing. So I was
Okay.
I was having to deal with trying to focus on that, listening to that, and also people
Yeah.
coming over my head. Yeah,
And then they done, is it Murph the Surf? I don't know what that is. I don't know. It says on set list.
it was it was their
Local.
hey, that's what we came up with. Yeah,
Okay, okay. The Day That Never Comes. I love that live as well. Shadows Follow. They done a lot of 72 seasons, didn't they?
yeah, they did. I mean, it seemed like their normal. It was their normal rotation
Yeah, yeah.
that
Orion.
they finished with last year.
Yeah, yeah, Orion. Nothing Else Matters. It was dedicated to somebody from Make-A-Wish. Rebecca.
Yes,
That was
yeah.
cool. That was cool. Sad but true. Fight Fire with Fire, one of your favorites, Chris.
Always happy when I get Fight Fire with Fire for sure. Yeah, that makes my day.
Yeah, Fuel, Seek and Destroy, and Master of Puppets. And I did note that they were sound checking The Unforgiven too.
Yeah, and so that part was interesting. So that guy, yeah, I was actually in the CN Tower when, when I took the picture down there.
Yeah,
My buddy was going through his stories and saw that Lars, posted that he was there. And then right after that, we started receiving messages about, the Unforgiven, the footage of the Unforgiven 2 sound check. And I saw who posted it and I was like, I'm not surprised. I know I figured if anybody would, it would be him.
okay.
So I saw him in line for for day one in the I Disappear line, talked to him for a bit. I was talking with some people I had just met as well.
Yeah,
When some of the Metallica crew members came over, or one of them, and was like, "Are you so and so?" He was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Come with me." And he's like, "What for?" So they leave. The guys around me are like, "Oh, he's getting an upgrade," and I was like, I knew what it was going to be. I was like, "I don't think so. I think they're going to talk to him about the video he uploaded."
yeah,
And so essentially, they wanted to make sure there wasn't a security breach or that there was an inside job of,
okay.
somebody letting him into the building.
Wow.
But
Yeah,
essentially, yeah, he said he was walking around and checking out the stadium, and people generally, will go around the stadium the night before to see if there's a sound check.
yeah,
He went into the lobby. He said it was chilly out. Wanted to go into the lobby and warm up. Maybe he had a warm beverage.
yeah,
Uh, Heard them doing sound check, and then went over. There was a door that was open. He went in, could see, helped himself, and so it was really, they probably wanted to have been more secure.
yeah,
And then they wanted to make sure that there wasn't an inside job and that that somebody was helping him out
yeah,
and
yeah.
breaking their security protocol. So they had him take down the video, and he was told he was on probation, but he didn't have any privileges revoked. So
Wow.
uh,
Like he didn't
yeah,
really, by the sounds of it, he didn't do anything wrong, really.
yeah. I mean that's it. It was pretty much it was just their lack of their lack of
Yeah.
just making sure that the place was secure if they wanted it to be.
Because I know just when you told me that story, it brought back a memory of Jochen and the boy, the other guy from Germany, just kind of Timo. They
Mhm.
caught the sound check in Munich, and
Yeah,
because Munich is that old kind of Olympic stadium, it's wide open. And
exactly.
yeah, Timo was telling me that he caught what was it that they were? Was it in a Marata they were trying out that time? Kind of sound.
Probably in Emirata right before they played it. Yeah,
Yeah, I think it was. But yeah, it's amazing. Like you don't think that Metallica are checking out a lot of this stuff. Like I know they check on Clint's show and they be listening and they get a lot of feedback and different things like that from fans. So like they are definitely checking stuff out. And I remembered the guy, the crewman that remember I was telling you in Madrid, Henry was his name. I don't know if that rings a bell to you.
okay.
He's kind of an Asian guy. Yeah, he was the guy that kind of helped us out. But it sounds like that would be the field that he'd be in because he done the same thing to me. He seen my Irish flag in Madrid and he pulled me aside and he's like, "Oh, so and so wants to take a picture with your flag," and I'm like, "What?" And I thought it was somebody else, but it was actually Ross Halfin, and he wanted. I was like, "Wow!" I was like, "Yeah, he can take a picture with it." But
Yeah.
that's going off topic. So yeah, yeah. So the set list was probably similar enough. There was no wild cards really on that one, I don't think.
Yeah, nothing surprising.
Yeah,
Then just yeah, like I said, with Suicide and Redemption and being able to get Fight Fire with Fire, I was happy.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, and Creep, James had a broken string, so we were over there by Chad, and all of a sudden see him running up there, bringing the rescue guitar. And he had a long run to get from James's spot. Oh, James was over there by Lars, so he had a nice long run. Hopefully, he had some oxygen when he got back. And they were still. It was kind of. I don't know if they were late with it or what, because there was still somebody on the stage still putting the set lists on the
Oh.
stage as well. So I mean, they were playing. They're still putting set lists on there. Chad's running around. Yeah.
So Pantera, they opened the first night, right? Was it?
Yes.
Yeah. So how was that? I know you said the sound sounded good, but like overall,
Yeah. It was pretty good. It seemed well received. It was, I don't know, it's probably the sixth or seventh time I've seen them
yeah.
um, doing that. So it was pretty much the norm for me.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Right. So let's get into night two then. I did check out some stuff online, and we did chat beforehand with the Limp Bizkit.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
looked like it went down pretty good.
They're fun. They're still fun. It was really cool. Being like I said, I didn't know if I mentioned it last time, but being able to see Wes Borland finally in the flesh,
Yeah.
because I missed him the first time. But yeah, they set up on one side of the stage.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to be permanent or if they did that because of the stage arrangement where it was on the field, because most of the people were behind us.
Yeah, I did see somebody comment to Wes's Instagram and he actually answered and they're like, you need to use most of the whole stage. And he's like, the way he answered on his own Instagram and he basically said the way that we were set up, he needed control of his pedal board. So
Yeah.
so he couldn't leave the pedal board too far.
Mhm.
I guess Metallica Chad is probably doing a lot of the stuff on site, switching up tones and wah pedals and all that crack. So that's what he said. He had to stay in that area because of his guitar pedals. So I don't know.
Yeah. I see. Yeah, and if he's stuck to a spot, you got DJ Lethal who's stuck there. You've got the drum kit that's going to be stuck there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
really, yeah, they're not going to be doing too much roaming around.
It looked
Um,
like Fred was kind of roaming around though.
yeah, he did. He did make it around. He did, and Wes made it around for a little bit too.
Yeah,
He wasn't just parked like
like the
um,
drum kit.
Wolfgang with WVH when he would just park himself in one spot.
Okay, but it
Yeah.
definitely looked like a fun show, and it brought me back to when I seen them in Belfast. Like they I don't think they take themselves too serious, and they know that they're especially opening for Metallica. They've won a bloody golden ticket here to open, but like
Yeah.
just like the way that they don't take themselves serious. They know it's a bit of a nostalgic thing, and it's a bit of fun, and it gets the crowd up. But I think it's going to go down well on this tour.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the crowd was rowdy. I looked around, the seats were filled. So they were on the, yeah, which said we were on the Kirk side. So as far as it went, it was just the crowd was rowdy. It was rough at the rail. I'm still
Okay.
my abs are swollen from that night at the rail. And it was crowd surfer after crowd surfer on that side. I know that there were pits going, and
Yeah.
he was just remarking on them as well. So if you want to steer clear of that, I would steer clear of that side of the stage if that's what they're going to do and set up on one side.
Yeah, yeah. I was the same. I got the shock of my life at that show in Belfast. I'm like, I think we chatted about it. I'm like, it'll be fun. It'll be like nostalgic. It was intense, man. It was like
Yeah,
proper pits. I'm like, Jesus, this is
yeah.
this is not
It,
what I
it
expected.
felt like Summer Sanitarium all over again.
Yeah, yeah. It was very, very cool. So let's get into the set list then, Metallica and night two, which is on the Saturday night. So we open up with Whiplash. Great way of
Yes,
opening it up.
love it.
Into Bells, Ride the Lightning, Until It Sleeps. That was a bit of a treat, right?
That is for me because I didn't get it for the first time until last year in Helsinki.
Yeah.
Uh, got it probably a couple other times after that. So anytime that's still fresh for me. So anytime they play that, I'm really happy, and I got a proper amount of James in front of me for that selection that night.
Yeah. And I think we mentioned this track as well on our last wee episode. I think we mentioned like, older tracks that we got down the years that we kind of take for granted. Remember we were chatting about I Disappear and you
Yeah,
had mentioned Until It Sleeps.
yeah.
But then into Lux Eterna,
Mhm.
Screaming Suicide. So the Kirk and Rob Doodle was a Rush song, right?
Yes, yeah. And I don't know Rush very well, but they're obviously very recognizable.
Well,
Um,
Canadian, right? Yeah,
yeah, yeah. It just as far as their sound, and so we had wondered talking to my Brazilian friend who absolutely. It seems like seeing a lot of posts, but knowing my Brazilian friends, they love Rush.
right.
Uh, so she was hoping maybe Getty will be in the house one of these nights. But hopefully they do a doodle or some sort of dedication to Rush. So I was extremely happy for her
Cool.
when she got some Rush from Robin Kirk.
Yeah, La Villa Strangolado. Again, yeah, I'm not a big Rush fan. The kind of prog rock stuff, I don't know, I can't get into. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
But never say never. Uh, into Sanitarium then. Wherever I May Roam. I love that song live. Oh my God, I love it. I love it. Then into Call of Cthulhu, again, the dedication to Cliff. It's awesome live as well. Um,
yeah.
The Unforgiven.
Forgiven. So then, yeah, the intro to Unforgiven, and they're set up on the opposite side of the stage. We're in the dark. We hear the opening tape. It's like, well, the opening tape could be for either Unforgiven. And so I was asking my buddy, I was like, can you see, do they have a guitar propped up? How many guitars are over there? So I was just in the waiting mode of, well, and, people around me were just excited. We're like, please let them go into Unforgiven too. And then finally it drops. And I was like, I got to say, that was the first time I was ever disappointed to hear Unforgiven. But
Yeah,
I wasn't. I enjoyed the song as I always do. But that was the first time that I was like, ah.
yeah. And then you got another one of your favorites then as well, Inamorata.
Yes, yeah. So that yeah, they came back to that, and I was on cloud nine. I was
Yeah.
extremely happy with that.
And then Battery, Moth into the Flame. Has that doesn't get played overly often, does it? Moth into the
And
Flame.
it moves through the rotation. So
It's one of the
yeah,
slots. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And then one, and then Enter Sandman. So yeah, I guess there was a lot of 72 seasons. I feel just kind of skipping through this, looks eternal, even over the boat nights. But yeah, so the sound wasn't fantastic.
The sound, and that was it. The sound the second night was better, and
But
that's what I've noticed in cities past. Because I feel where was it? It was SoFi, Minneapolis. Were just a couple places I can think of right off the bat, where the sound the first night was just kind of atrocious. And because I live and die by James's sound, and if I can't hear James, so at SoFi I couldn't hear James. The
right,
next night I was like, I'll be at the soundboard. I need to be able to hear it. But by all accounts, it was all fine. Minneapolis, I was in the same spot pretty much both nights by Kirk. The first night, the sound was terrible, and U.S. Bank Stadium has a reputation for having a bad sound.
yeah,
Uh,
it's
but
huge though, isn't it? Right?
yeah, yeah, and there's a lot of glass. But as far as it goes, I feel like Metallica they do really good on dialing it in night two, regardless of how bad, or
Yeah, tweaking.
night
Yeah,
one, or what situation they've been given. They really do dial it in. So it sounded better. I think the only thing I could really recall was struggling at times to hear Lars's snare of all things.
okay.
Uh, but it was fine during Inamorata.
Yeah. I seen some guy from I believe Colombia or some that I follow. He was right at I don't know which drum kit it was. Which song was it? I forget. It might have been in the Murata. He was right at the drum kit, and I was just watching his videos. It was so cool. Like you could hear like he might be playing for you. You know what I mean? It was so cool. He was so close. Like I was actually watching it with my kids. Actually, I was skipping through YouTube, and they were like, "Is that Metallica?" I have only young kids, and they were like, "That's pretty cool." Like they were right in front of you. Like the three guys. I think it was Rob, James, and Lars, and I was just like, I'd lose myself if I was that close. I think. But so yeah, overall, then a good weekend, or midweek, mid Thursday, Saturday.
Yeah, yep. That was good. I talked to people who also did went to the Kirk, went to the Kirk talk.
Yes.
Um, and as far as it went, the Squindo talk, people that went to the movie.
Yeah. Any
Uh,
feedback from the movie?
yeah, I've been told people were like, you absolutely have to go to the movie. And I was like, I didn't plan on going to the movie. That when I have these weekends here, I don't really want to spend 3 hours at the movie theater.
Yeah.
Uh, and I'm already taking the time. Like I do want to go to the Squindo talk, and I already have a ticket for that in Nashville. But knowing some of the people that are in the movie, going to see familiar faces, hear some cool stories,
Yeah.
and being a part of the Metallica family, I was like, yeah, it is something I need to do. So today I went and saw a ticket available in Nashville and jumped on it. So
Oh, nice.
I'll be partaking in more activities next weekend. But yeah, hearing from people, also the Squindo talks, people that I talked to somebody that went in Seattle and they went to this one as well, and this one seemed fresh to them.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to doing that.
That'll be great. That will be awesome. Did you get any pics or anything this trip?
So it's funny. The first night, I didn't see a single pick. We were right there at the rail. They got tossed and went to the ground looking, and it was just nothing, absolutely nothing. I saw the pick later the first night for the city, and it had a skate on
Yeah,
there,
skate
a
was
hockey
cool.
skate. And then the next night, just a shout out to one of my crew member buddies, and he saw me and came over and gave me a handful. And later when they came out and threw stuff out, I was able to collect a few more. So I was able to get that night's city pick and was happy with that.
That's cool.
Yeah, it had the curling stone. I don't know what name it has if it's something other than that, but
Right. Okay. Cool. Yeah. The ice skate was cool. I seen that one online. It looked awesome. It looked really, really cool. So yeah. So you've a busy week again now. You're heading to Nashville, right?
yep, yeah, just did laundry. Tomorrow after work, I got to drive to Denver, fly out early Wednesday, get situated there, go see friends, check out. Now I've never been to Nashville, so that's a city I've always wanted to go to.
Yeah. I've been in it. It's cool. It's so
Yeah,
cool. It's so different than anything that I've ever experienced, but I loved it. Like I did a couple of years up in like New Jersey. And then when we said it on our last chat that I went to Tennessee to see Metallica in 2008 at that Bonnaroo Festival, it's just outside Nashville. But we did one day in Nashville, and Jesus, it's you're in for a treat, man. If you like music, obviously, like if you're not just focused on thrash metal or metal, if you're open
yeah,
to everything, there's some amazing singers and some amazing guitarists in like just a regular bar. You're looking at these people going, how are you like, how are you not more famous? You
right,
know,
yeah,
it's so good. And the food, everything, man, you're in for a treat. You really are. It's such a good city. Such a
yeah,
good city. So yeah. So it's the is it the who is it? The Titan Stadium?
yes,
Titans.
yeah,
Okay. So that's a big stadium then. What is that, like 70, 80,000?
yeah. That's going to be 70 plus. Yeah, it's an NFL stadium. Yeah.
Damn, damn. And weather-wise, it's going to start getting warm, right?
Yeah, I looked, and it's supposed to be in the 80s, but there's some showed thunderstorms for, yeah, my friend in Nashville. She reached out to me. She's gonna be picking me up on Wednesday, but reached out and said the weather doesn't look good Tuesday to Friday, but Saturday and Sunday are supposed to be nice. So I'm looking on there, and I think for the day of the first show, night one, looking at like 70% chance of thunderstorms.
Oh.
I was like, well, that'll be the interesting day. That could turn into a Foxborough type situation. We'll see
Yeah.
what happens.
Yes. I wonder, is Clint going? He might be on the road, I think, maybe.
I think he's on the road. Yeah, I think I spoke with a friend, and I believe she said he won't be there.
Okay, okay. And is there any meetups? Is there anything on the day off and with the families or anything or the clubs or stuff? You meeting up anybody?
Um, yeah, as far as it goes, I don't know what's going on with any local club or anything. I know that for me, what I'm looking forward to is I've got I've got more Polish friends that are going to be arriving. There's going to be a bigger crew.
Right.
Looking forward to hanging with them. I've got my friends, so my friend Sasha from here in Colorado. Some friends from California are going to come out. I think they're all primarily doing just one night of the two,
Okay.
but at least that's sort of the crew that I usually roll with,
Yeah.
and I'm looking forward to seeing them as well.
Um,
Um,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like, yeah, I'm highly jealous. Did you look any more about Abu Dhabi?
No, and it's funny. So I talked when I got to Toronto. My buddy had just flown in from Poland. We hopped on the train to get into downtown, and he told me that that morning. So that morning for him was about the time I was going to bed. Because I'd messaged him and said, "Hey, just let me know your movements. I just want to make sure that you're moving along the way." Because his flight was supposed to arrive 6 minutes before mine, so we'd planned on meeting at the airport.
Yeah.
But he told me on the train ride that when he woke up that morning and had messaged me, he was talking with another friend in Poland, and they saw that another wave of tickets had come out, and they were able to snag their tickets.
Oh, so
Um,
it's tough to get a ticket for Abu Dhabi then. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, so it
Oh,
was it was it was tough because yeah, it was already they'd already sold tickets before we last chatted, and then they released another round of tickets that sold just like that.
oh,
Uh,
okay, okay. I thought it was just like GAs could get in. So maybe the whole event is kind of selling out then.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's because I talked to somebody else who they didn't get a ticket for the race or the show essentially.
Yeah.
All they got a hold of is a Golden Circle upgrade. So they were like, I'm still in need of a ticket, but it's the tickets that are hard to find.
Oh, okay. I think you'll be all right. I think there'll be a lot of released tickets. Like even like if you have a GA ticket, you'll still get into the gold circle, I think.
Yeah, yeah, probably.
Yeah,
At least that's it. It's how many people, I guess how many people does an F1 race fit?
a lot.
Yeah.
Because I think especially Abu Dhabi, like there's a couple of stands, okay, they're not huge stands. But there's a lot of GA where you can literally walk around the track. So like
Yeah.
I'd s- I don't want to say a number and be completely wrong, but if I was to guess, it's got to be it's got to be 40, 50,000.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So it's not too awfully intimate, and yeah.
Yeah. And as I say, I think a lot of them don't even go to the shows.
And
The
that was the thought process of people I was talking to. They're like, yeah, a lot of those people, they're gonna be there for the race, and that's it.
It's very commercial. I think a lot of people would be brought to that show to kind of wine and dine potential customers in the higher end field of, work and stuff and commercialized. That kind of like Monaco, as I said, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like take a picture for Instagram. I'm at Abu Dhabi race, that kind of a thing. And they don't even care about the music and that. But maybe I'm wrong.
Sure.
If I was to guess and if I was to have a little bet, I think, like I said before, you could get Metallica at low numbers, like Metallica low numbers, like maybe 20, 25,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which would be amazing. It would be so
Yeah.
cool. But again, Chris, thanks so much for jumping on. I know it was awkward with our time difference and stuff, but I really enjoyed the chat and getting a great feedback on the Toronto shows. And hopefully you'll have another awesome weekend and we'll get you on again and we dissect the Nashville shows.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, my only thought, just about Unforgiven 2, since that seems to be the
It's
theme.
got to
I,
come.
I was like, maybe when they did Soundcheck, it didn't sound so great in there, and they said we're not going to do that. Or maybe they're gearing up with Nashville being such a country music city. That would be a good place to play it.
I'm gonna have a bet here for fun. I'm gonna say night two on that slot that what was on the third last song on night two. What was the moth into flame?
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a guess. That slot there, night two, Unforgiven two. I hope
Okay.
it is. I hope it is for you, man. But again, thanks so much for jumping on and dissecting the Toronto shows, and we look forward to having you back on and chatting about Nashville. So safe trip and safe travels, and enjoy the show, man.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right, man.